Everyone wants progress. Everyone wants momentum. Everyone says they want results. But very few people are willing to do the one thing that guarantees all of it. Take consistent action. Not dramatic action. Not once a year, all-out bursts of productivity. Not grand gestures that impress people for a day. Consistent action. The small, steady, repeated movement that may not get applause in the beginning, but builds something powerful in the long run. Because real growth doesn't come from intensity. It comes from rhythm, from showing up even when you're not motivated, from doing the work when it's boring, from honoring the commitment after the emotion is gone. And most people never master this. Not because they don't care, not because they're lazy, but because they haven't yet made peace with the fact that greatness lives inside the mundane. The world is loud with hype, with noise, with new strategies. People love to talk about the next big thing, the breakthrough method, the shortcut, the overnight transformation. But the truth has never changed. Success still belongs to the consistent, not the loudest, not the flashiest. The ones who keep going, the ones who stay in motion when everyone else is waiting to feel inspired. The ones who stack small wins day after day until those wins turn into identity. You don't need more talent. You don't need more luck. You don't need a better time of year. You need to decide. Decide that motion matters more than mood. That follow-through matters more than feeling good. That discipline will serve you longer than motivation ever could. Because motivation fades, energy runs out. Emotion is unpredictable, but consistency, that's a choice. That's power. That's ownership. Most people confuse inconsistency with lack of discipline, but it's deeper than that. It's usually a mindset problem, a misunderstanding of how growth actually works. People expect immediate feedback, fast results, instant rewards. And when that doesn't happen, they assume something's wrong. They assume they failed. They assume they're not cut out for it. But nothing's wrong. It's just that results take time. And time only pays people who are still moving. Think about anything lasting. A relationship, a business, a skill, a body, a reputation. None of it's built in a weekend. All of it is built through repetition, through showing up, through practice, through failing and trying again, through doing the work when you don't feel like it, through choosing movement over mood again and again and again. And it's not that successful people are superhuman. It's that they've trained themselves not to disappear when things get repetitive. They've trained themselves to value progress even when it's invisible. They've stopped relying on passion and started relying on pattern. And pattern, that's where the power lives. Not in hype, in habit, not in emotion, in execution. This is the great separator. Not who starts, but who stays. Not who posts about it, but who practices it. Not who shows up once in a while when it's convenient, but who builds the lifestyle that turns consistency into normalcy, into identity, into a baseline they refuse to drop below. That's who wins. That's who grows. That's who builds something that lasts. Consistent action doesn't start with discipline. It starts with decision. Not a vague intention, not a half-hearted wish, a real decision. One made in a quiet moment, away from the noise. A decision where you say, I'm done negotiating with myself. Because that's what breaks most people. Not the work itself, but the daily mental debate over whether or not to show up. And every time you re-enter that debate, you lose energy. You lose clarity. You let your feelings sit in the seat where your values should be. You'll never be consistent if you keep voting on the same commitment every morning. It has to be decided ahead of time. Your default setting has to be show up. Not show up if I feel good. Not show up if it's convenient. Just show up. That means taking feelings off the throne and putting principles there instead. That means trading temporary comfort for long-term strength. That means knowing who you are before the day tries to convince you otherwise. This is where identity begins to intersect with action. Most people think action follows belief, but it also works the other way. The more you act in alignment with your values, the more those actions begin to reinforce who you are. Every time you honor your word to yourself, you cast a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. And those votes add up, not in one day, not in 1 week, but over time, they create self-trust. They create identity. They create a standard that eventually becomes automatic. But consistency requires structure. You can't just rely on willpower. Willpower is a fragile fuel source. It's like lighting a match every morning and hoping the fire doesn't go out before noon. What you need is rhythm, routine, systems, something that holds you when your motivation doesn't. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be consistent. A simple morning ritual, a repeatable work setup, a decision to move your body at the same time every day, a plan to prep your meals, to clean your space, to return to your goals even when yesterday didn't go as planned. These things aren't glamorous, but they're powerful because they create anchors, and anchors don't let you drift. The real win of consistent action is momentum, not results, momentum. Because results are delayed, results can lie, results can be manipulated. But momentum is honest, it's immediate, it's yours. It's the quiet energy that builds when you do what you said you'd do, even when no one is watching, even when it doesn't seem to matter yet, even when the payoff hasn't shown up. Momentum is emotional. It's internal. It's a shift you feel when your habits start stacking, when your identity starts locking in, when your decisions stop feeling forced and start feeling normal. And most people never get to experience it because they quit too soon. They stop at the first sign of resistance. They disappear when it gets repetitive. They break the streak, and instead of returning, they retreat. But the magic isn't in the streak. It's in the return. It's in the decision to come back after missing a day. It's in the moment you feel like giving up and you take one small step forward anyway. That's consistency. Not perfection, not doing it every single day forever without fail. It's becoming someone who always returns, someone who recommits faster, someone who doesn't let a bad hour turn into a wasted day. You train this by lowering the activation energy. Make it easier to begin. Have the clothes ready, the book open, the workspace clean. The first step so small you don't have to feel motivated to take it. Because once you start moving, momentum takes over. And momentum always beats hesitation. Movement builds confidence. Confidence builds clarity, and clarity keeps you going. So don't wait for the perfect plan. Don't obsess over optimizing every detail. Just begin. Build the habit of beginning, even on the hard days. Especially on the hard days, because every hard day you show up makes the next one easier. It makes your identity more real. It makes your standard more solid. And that's what you're building. Not just a result, but a standard. One that doesn't break every time life throws a curve. This is how consistency becomes freedom. It's not restriction, it's release. You don't have to think so much. You don't have to debate every move. You know your path, you know your pace, and you trust the process because you trust yourself. That trust is earned,